Hello, my name is Rudine Ward Jackson, and I'm a student of Grand Canyon University. I'm currently doing student teaching at Gulfview Elementary School here in Florida, Brevard County. Just want to tell you a little bit about why we're here today. We're here today because, see, I work with the first grade as a student teacher. And as a candidate of the student teaching education program, I'm now working with first graders where before I worked with VPK and Head Start. There's a difference in the two sets of children. Let me tell you. The first graders, they're beautiful. They're so much more independent than the VPK. But those VPK and Head Start, they're adorable, charming little precious ones. And teaching all grades, for me, I find it just fascinating. I love it when the children get the point of the education that I'm trying to input into them. I love it when they listen and they follow the instructions that I'm giving because it's not easy to get children to hear and follow the instructions. So when I get them to do that, I feel like I've succeeded in my mission to teach. Okay, but in my candidacy program, my teaching has allowed me to collaborate with other teaching staff, other teachers. I have a mentor teacher. In fact, I have several mentor teachers because in my first half of my student candidacy program, I also met a teacher that was absolutely fantastic with the children. And we've become now what you call lifetime partners in collaborating for information to be able to assist me in my future goal of teaching. And as I get into this field, in this career field, I am looking forward to working with the children of any age, particularly talking about now and currently. In Gulfview, the children of first grade, the classroom is a little bit different from what I expected it to be. Working with early childhood education, the children's classrooms are set up and arranged different. In the first grade, we have desks where we had in VPK and Head Start, there were small two tables and you did family style educating and teaching the children. And then there are centers. There's centers in the first grade, but they're a lot more mature and set up for the children as age appropriately, for them to learn. Also, I find very different and exciting is when I am working with the children and I introduce different ways of learning. The learning styles for the children are not the same. All of the children have different ways of learning. And so for that reason, I add a little fun to it. Okay, I make it exciting for them to learn, and the children love it. Add a little dance, add a little art, creative things that they like to do, and put their interest in it, use their theme, just to make sure that the point that we're getting to in our curriculum and in our lesson plans, that they're completely able to compile it with the life that they live. It's easy to just say words and then the children not be able to relate. So to help them relate, I try to help them use words that they would use or use themes. Batman and Superman is a good theme. Frozen is a very good theme. When you introduce in winter and you mention the movie Frozen, the children identify with cold and winter. And then when you go into the seasons of spring and you introduce flowers and birds, oh, they love that. Little Red Riding Hood went through the woods. Little things like that. It might seem just as simple just to hear it, but for the children, it's very interesting. And they have a lot more to add to it. But coming off the classroom part now, our class is very print rich. And then when the children are unable to pronounce the words and they take the time to look at the pictures and connect the pictures with the words, they get that spelling, that pronunciation, and those syllables, and, their phonics and their phenols, they get it correct. I really, really enjoy that part. But I have to say, I've grown. Please forgive me. I've grown and I've developed over the years to get to the point that I am now, where I can share this with you. In my learning to be an educator, I've taken time to apply ongoing training into the classroom. This time that I do now and putting what I do with the textbook and the reading and brochures, like this weekly reader, this information is important. The children look through it and they compare what they live like now and what they did later. as you see, just one of them. Then there's math. The children get to add the numbers and they learn the different concepts, and it's very interesting. Okay, but let's go into a little bit about my teaching philosophy now that we've talked about that. My teaching philosophy is each one teach one. So as I teach the children, I have to learn all this material prior to going into the classroom. I have to work with the standards and know the standards visually and mentally by pretty much by heart, because I can't get into the classroom and not know the standards and set a curriculum or create a lesson plan in the curriculum and it doesn't align with the standards. In order for the children to get what they need from what I'm teaching, I have to know the standards and I have to have ongoing training. So that's what I do. Okay. Also, in my teaching philosophy of each one teach one, I try to work with the 4 F's. Sometime back I learned about the 4 F's and I thought it was fascinating. Okay, when you're teaching children, it should be fun. It should be interesting. So I use one of those as an F for fun. Then I also, during one of the lessons I did with the 4 F's that they were talking about, it was about being firm. Meaning you being loving, you're giving them the point, but you have your rules. You have your classroom rules and you have to stand firm to them. No late arrival, helping them to be on point, understand that a routine is routine. It's firm. You sit in your seat, you raise your hand, following classroom management. That was very important to me. Also, I found feedback, giving immediate feedback to the children. When I do something with them as far as a lesson is concerned, and I am approving their work, I want to give them positive feedback in the nicest tone so they are human like I am human. And God knows He has given me all that I have needed to make it to this point. So I try to take the godliness of me and apply it to my feedback when I give it to the children in a nice, soft tone, but firm, so that they can increase their educational goals and stay motivated in their lesson. Okay, another one of my F's is formative assessment. Each time I give the children a lesson, I have a formative assessment written. So this way I can assess their work. It's important for me to assess their work and know where they are before we move on to the next level. I need to be able to share this information with the student so that the student is knowing where he or she is on the curriculum that we're working with. If this lesson is not where the child needs to be, then I need to reassess and modify it. So that's why my formative assessments are very important throughout the school year of working with the children on each lesson. Then I have a personal philosophy. My personal philosophy is maintain a high expectation. I expect my children to do very well in the class. And I tell them, don't be fearful. Just give it your best. If you give it your best, that's it. That's all I've asked for you. But that personal philosophy also holds for me. Give it my best. That's why I have to do ongoing training. I have to do ongoing training and study my material and be resourceful and use the resources that's available to me and collaborate with other teachers and stick with my mentor teacher and be in the loop, as they say, with the administrative staff. Because a lot of the programs that they have for the children I see in the first grade, like the Eureka Math and the iReady, these programs are already preset into the computer for the children to follow up. It's for me to stay on tune with that and the standards to follow up and make sure the children get the work, it's assessed, and they understand it before we go to the next level. As far as the question goes, how do I feel about Christian worldviews? Well, with Christian worldviews, it's imperative to me that I always let any and everyone know that I believe in God. Christian views gives me an opportunity to teach my children from an aspect that's friendly, that's fun, that's loving and caring. God has taken the time to create this wonderful earth in which we thrive in our environment. And the only way our children can thrive in their environment is if we're positive. So me having a Christian view means I'm optimistic at all times. The glass is always halfway full, never halfway empty. And looking at things from a positive aspect gives me a chance to increase and hold high expectations on things that I should know and maintain my major determining point, I should say, for what I am to do next. Okay. Sometimes all of us have times in our lives when we need special needs. And prayer is a special need. Sometimes when I'm teaching, if there's some material I don't understand, I take a moment and I ask the Lord for guidance, and He gives it to me in the time that I need it. And I'm able to take that and turn it around and share with my students so that they get full benefit of an education. And no child is left behind. I thank you for spending time with me this afternoon and sharing a little bit about my student teaching candidacy. And I hope to see each and every one of you in the near future. Thank you for coming. Bye.